Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and I want to welcome you back to my Cultists playthrough / tutorial. And today we are obviously going to continue on our quest for world domination and try to overpower the endless AI, which is usually fairly hard to overpower and dethrone, but we'll try our best. Or at least I will, I don't know about you. Either way, there isn't much I need to talk in relation to the previous videocast because everything was fairly clear from what I know. So let's go ahead and obtain a quest from the Ericus, free our people. So I have to destroy Kazanji village. That's a fairly annoying quest because it means that you cannot parley with the village that you're supposed to destroy. But regardless, it's also not the worst quest you can gain, and I'm going to get Moonleaf from it. Moonleaf is a really nice luxury resource. I love it a lot because getting this extra 50 science, in addition to the extra happiness, is actually a very good deal. So I'm liking this a lot, and yeah, I'll probably do this quest, especially since I would much rather hunt down Kazanji than Ericus. So I'm going to leave the Ericus alone, and I'll make my way to kill the Sisters of Mercy. I want to kill them as quickly as possible for two reasons. One, I don't want to have any Sisters of Mercy roaming around this area. I want this to be fairly clean and I want to have full control over it. Secondly, if I convert this village, it will be much easier to defend it from the Draken than if I were to convert this Ericus village, because after you convert a village, any other player can go ahead and ban it down, and then it is no longer converted, and then you have to convert it again, which costs a significant amount of influence, and by all means you should make sure that this does not happen. Now, is there anything else we need to do this particular turn? I'll just have a quick check if food is doing fine. Yes, indeed it is. So what else do I want to focus on if possible? Maybe having a little bit of extra influence would not hurt. And indeed, I'll gladly go for just that. I'm liking this build, so let's go ahead and finish this turn. I'm going to talk quite a bit about two things today. One, research, but that can wait until public library is done. Two, units, which I'm going to discuss again after public library is done and once I'm in the research screen, because that's probably the optimal time to discuss units. So firstly, let's merge our armies together again and be on my way towards the Sisters of Mercy. They should fall down relatively easy, because Preachers, well, on their own not the best units, their unleashed potential ability is actually fairly significant, and the hero is kinda beastly. Like every hero, that's true, but Cultist heroes in particular are pretty good at whatever they want to do, which is kinda awesome if you ask me. Alright, what do I want to do next in my city after I get yet another preacher out? Well, the next turn I'll be done with public library, so I'll think about that a little bit more then. However, I think it's about time I start creating some borough streets. Borough streets would be certainly very useful for me because of numerous reasons, like for example having a better city, better influence income, and so on and so forth. So where do I want to put down my next borough streets? If I put it down like here, I'll gain the most industry production, which would be kind of beneficial, and I would force myself to create a triangle like this, or like this, probably like this. And it's not the worst idea ever. Having extra production would allow me to make future districts much faster. However, because I have very little science gain, I'm kind of tempted to make a triangle like this and start by making a borough streets in this location. It would only add me additional 2 science plus extra 1 science from the borough streets though, so it's not that big of an increase in science. It is something though, so I'm tempted. But I really like the idea of having a lot of extra industry as soon as possible just to be able to make more borough streets. It's an arguable decision. You may disagree with it, I won't blame you. It's what I believe right now to be the most beneficial to me. Alright, so how quickly can I make this borough street? Let's have a quick look. 3 is the fastest and I cannot go any higher than that. Alright, public library I do want to be done in 110 because I'll probably make it before borough streets, as I seriously desperately need to have extra science. Let's finish this there, and finally I'll have a quick chance, a first chance rather than a quick chance, I don't know what a quick chance is, to discuss the tech and units, but only after I'm done killing some innocent civilians, because you cannot start the day well unless you kill some innocents, for crying out loud. Seriously? Alright, so the village I was supposed to destroy, it was already destroyed by somebody else, which is mildly infuriating and unfortunate, but I guess things like that do happen. It does tell me that there's probably some sort of warmonger not too far away from me. Actually, I do remember the enemy color codes, don't I? So pink is, that's the roving class, this shouldn't be warmongery. They sometimes are, though, when it comes to minor factions, so it can be a little bit strange. Alright, Sisters of Mercy, I'm sorry, I'm just going to marry you horribly, because the only thing I get from Pali is pacification anyway, so you're going to die in the most beautiful, I mean painful, vicious way possible. Let's start a battle. I do not trust auto battles, okay? I've seen battles like this ending up with all my units being killed, my hero dying, and the enemy not losing a single unit. It rarely happens, but it does happen, so I'm just going to go into offensive manual battle. Thank you very much. I like going for auto battle when I'm convinced that I cannot win a battle, because sometimes auto battle can surprise me positively. And I also use it when I really have like significant advantage, like 90% advantage at the very least. Alright, so how do I want to set this up? Those guys only have 2 speed, and since we are in the forest, they can't really close in on my units fast enough. So if I set up like this, I should have the high ground advantage. The enemy, however, will have the forest advantage on those towns, which will not exactly be ideal, but I think I would much rather have the high ground advantage than the forest advantage. I don't quite remember the exact bonuses that you can gain from that, to be entirely honest with you though. So I'm not entirely sure if this decision is indeed the best one I could make in this situation. Alright, let's hold my ground because I'm very certain that those guys will walk towards me. I am tempted to walk down on the slope though, purely because this will possibly keep those girls at bay and make sure that they cannot reach my preachers in the next turn. I'll do that, yeah. Let's step down, buff my units, buff my other units that buff other units, because everybody likes to buff other units. And oh, I forgot, I will not be able to step down because I'm attacked, but the enemy missed and I got a critical strike. Could this have gone any better? I seriously doubt so. So, my buffed unit is going to buff the unit that buffed it, while this unit is going to attack once it's buffed, and you, dear sir, are also going to attack, assuming that you're not attacked beforehand. But I think that the Sisters of Mercy are going to attack my, how it's called, preacher first. Oh no, they're dumb, they're attacking my hero. That's very nice. Alright, so this battle was easily won. Maybe I would have been able to kill Ericus now that I think about it, but Ericus are much more powerful than Justices could ever hope to be. So now the enemy is gone, and now I have enough influence to actually go ahead and convert this village. Question is, do I want to? Because it will cost me 20 influence, and on the next turn I can go for a new empire plan. But, do I care about this empire plan? No, I do not, at least not yet. If I go for extra 20% size on cities, it sounds amazing until you realize you can only have one city. And my city currently generates 3 science, which is hardly a big amount, so extra 20% from 3 science, and no, I'll pass on that, thank you very much. I can also go for extra unit reduction cost in terms of industry, and no, I'm not going to spam too many units. Sure, I'll make some of them, but most of your army is going to be created for free when you play as the Cultists, which is a mechanic you'll see in action very soon. I don't need that just yet, and I don't care about vision, so I can just ignore Empire Plan and go ahead and convert those 40. It was 20! I swear it was 20. I played on this very patch and it was 20. Is my memory this bad? No way, it was 20. Is it because I burned them down before converting them? It might be it, but it's strange. I could swear it was 20. I tested this before recording this video. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. I might be just retarded. It's entirely possible. So, if that is the case, if I am indeed retarded, then first things first, I do want parasites first. It would increase my industry, not industry, but influence generation, which would be indeed quite nice. But I so desperately need to have more science, so I'm gonna go for that. And how quickly can I get it? In 2 turns, looks like. Okay, I'm clicking on you. Yeah, there we go. 2 turns, 2 turns, and now 3 turns. Alright, so I'll do it like this and focus on influence generation. So in 3 turns, I'll actually have access to conversion of this village. 3 turns is a lot of time, unfortunately, but it doesn't look like there's anything I can do about that. What I could do is leave 1 preacher over here and send the rest of my army along with additional preacher to this area to seek other villages, which I'm actually going to do. And additionally, I'm also going to assign a hero for the time being, because I already pacified this village, and for the next 5 turns, I do not think I'll be in too many battles, so I'd much rather make sure that I gain as much influence as I can, and as you can see now, I'm gaining 15 influence per turn, which means that in just 2 turns I'll be able to pacify this village. And actually now I'm gaining 12, which is also enough. And now I'm gaining 9, which is also enough. That's pretty awesome. Alright, but still, regardless of what I do, public library will take me 2 turns. Yeah, and the new population will also take me 2 turns, so I guess I'm gonna go for research for the time being, because research is fairly important, as I have stated times and times again. So, speaking of research, what do I want to go for? I'm in a second going to discuss what I'm going to go for right now, but I want to firstly tell you what you should go for in general when playing as the Cultists, because think about this, you only can ever have one city. So, structures that usually would be very, very tempting for you to get and beneficial are not as beneficial now. For example, empire improvements. Pretty much worthless, they only affect one of your cities. So, of course, bread and circuses is the most extreme example, but this kind of things you want to avoid. Anything like that is fairly worthless for you. What is very good for you? Generally structures that increase the fits gain from tiles, rather than structures that increase the percentage from your city, although they are still useful. But generally speaking, as the Cultists, you have one very, very, very big city, and as such, it's usually a fairly good idea to have increased fits generation from tiles. So things like, for example, even geomic labs, they're usually fairly good. I'm not gonna go for them because, as you can see, I barely have any science tiles, but usually they're actually fairly beneficial for your city. Of course, again, things like apprenticeship registry, also pretty nice. Lumberman is situational, and things like canal system, that's again situational, but usually pretty good. So those are the kind of techs you want. Things that give you a percentage, which I don't think there are any in Era 2. There should be one over here, percentage. That's actually pretty good regardless. So that's a bad example. Whatever. But you get the idea. You want to focus on improving your tiles rather than your city itself. Although if you can improve your city itself in a significant way, then don't be afraid to do so. Upgrades and buildings like this, sure, they can be okay, but they're not as efficient and or effective, because keep in mind, you're spending a lot of research for something that you can only use once in your empire. And usually this research is worth it because you can get this structure several times in your entire empire because you have several cities, but now you don't. So it's a little bit different when it comes to the balance of your science and technologies that you're supposed to unlock. Additionally, this also applies to things like mines, for example. If you have no mines, or rather no resources in a starting area, why bother going for mines? There's no reason whatsoever. I, however, do have glass steel, and only glass steel, and titanium too. So I'm going to go for those types of mines because I can actually exploit them. So this is nice. As Cultists in general, you do like this kind of techs that improve things indirectly. For example, things like mercenary market or imperial coinage or meritocratic promotion. While they are always fairly important, for you it's now an even bigger priority because you care about those more than you care about individual structure improvements. Alright, but what do I want to go for right now, right this instant? There are actually several tempting alternatives. Keep in mind I have to grab 4 technologies, so by the end of Era 1 I'll have everything I really need. I will have to go for Alchemist Finance at some point, and the sooner the better usually. Having extra heroes is not super important, but I do need a general, and if I can find one it would be amazing to get another Cultist hero too. I desperately need the Fanatic, who I'm going to talk about in a second again. And I also need an empowerment, so those are the 4 technologies I'm going to go for. Another type of technology that I'm thinking about getting instead of empowerment, although not this time, but generally it's actually a fairly good idea to go for technologies that increase your happiness. Why? Usually you won't need it, because you have a lot of happiness in your city. You're probably going to be ecstatic almost all the time after middle game. However, a lot of those happiness producing structures also give you very nice bonuses, like extra 10% to multiple things at once. Where's the other one? Where is the other? Oh, there it is. Like this one, for example, extra 10% influence in science. That's fairly nice. It does cost 10 dust and it's fairly expensive, but yeah, it gets better and better. So it's certainly something that you can have a look on, and again, that is absolutely amazing. So, I didn't actually discuss what I'm going to get now. Well, that's because there are several tempting possibilities. I am not going to go for mercenary market just yet. I don't have the resources to buy anyone or anything, and I don't want to sell anything either, so I don't need this technology right now. Again, by the method of elimination, I'm not too desperate on gaining extra dust, although it would be useful, so I'm gonna go for that at some point. I do need Alchemist Furnace and I do need to have Fanatics. So I'm gonna start with Fanatics into Alchemist Furnace, into... No, not you. Into Dust and end up with the Mercenary Market. That is what I believe right now to be the best course of action. Another technology that is tempting is the Search Party, since you do need those ruins to be useful. But I don't know, I think that the kind of technologies that I'm researching are just more important right now. For me at the very least. Sometimes in your playthrough you might disagree and it's subjective, really. Maybe it's a bit more objective than I make it out to be, but still. So let's make it like so, understand. And I'm going to discuss briefly the units that you can have as the Cultists. So the unit I'm researching right now, Fanatic, it's a cavalry unit that I mean, it is... Alright, let's start it again. It is a cavalry unit. How does it fare compared to other cavalry units? Stats-wise, it's the best, except for the... Yes, apply. Alright. Stats-wise, it's the best except for Dervish. Roving class Dervish has better stats, less life, but in general I would value it more because it has a very good stat line. All other cavalry units have worse stats in comparison to Fanatic, however not by much. And what you also need to know is that Fanatics, unlike any other cavalry unit that other units, factions can make... By the way, I'm talking about the classic cavalry units, I'm not talking about the ones that you can recruit from minor factions. So anyway, all the other cavalry units, even though they have weaker stats per se, they have plenty of additional advanced abilities that make up for the fact that they have slightly weaker stats, like Charge being very important. Riders, for example, from Broken Lords also have Soul Leech. No, not Soul Leech. They have Soul Leech and the other thing that allows them to heal with every hit. They also can have Stun in general. Very powerful abilities. Fanatics are not... Did I seriously misclick? Where is he even got? Well, that's gonna cost me a lot of dust, for crying out loud. Maybe he wanted to go for a stroll. I didn't mean to click him at all. Anyway, Fanatics do not have any of those special, awesome, cool, interesting abilities. And this can be a little bit of a problem for you. Because, wait a second, I'm trying to balance this correctly. This is the best, I believe. Yeah, let's do it like so. Because the problem is, Fanatics do not have any extra abilities. So, they do not benefit from Charge, Soul Leech, or anything like that. And that's a text message that is important. Oh, I will need to reply to that. But I can do this after the videocast is done, whatever. Yes, I know, I'm a very caring friend, deal with it. Anyway, what I was trying to say, I keep forgetting unfortunately, because I am the kind of person that gets distracted very easily. Oh, yes, I remember now. So the thing is... That's what's up this time. Oh, it's from Vienna. Sorry, no! Focus! I'm a very social person, so it's sometimes hard for me to focus when... I should mute my phone. Alright, it's muted. And it's fine. Oh, Vivian again. I want to reply to Vivian at the very least. No. I'll focus. So... Cavalry units. So the deal behind the Fanatics is that even though they do not have any special abilities, they are still very powerful, because keep in mind that high stats combine very nicely with the Priestess' ability to boost the unleashed, to buff friendly units with unleashed potential, because it gives you the extra 10% to every stat, and because Fanatics have all around similar and fairly high stats, this works better than it would on any other cavalry unit. So when you combine a Priestess with Fanatics, they can create a very beastly combo that is still only comparable to other cavalry units, but is it cheaper? I think it is slightly cheaper, I don't remember right now, I would have to check it. I don't wanna give you false information, it might be cheaper. I don't remember right now. But either way, Fanatics plus Preachers are actually a fairly nice combo. Alright, so what am I going to do now is actually I'm going to convert this village like so, and bam, it's done, and I suddenly gained a new unit as well, which I'm going to attach to my army. Like so, right away, and start moving in the general direction of something. Let's go south-ish, and new item in my inventory. What is that? I already got all the cards from Endless Legends, so I don't know what it is. Maybe somebody gave me a gift. Oh, how nice. Anyway, I'm so distracted today, aren't I? Anyway, I just converted this village. Now, this means several things for me. Firstly, as you can see, when I click on the village, all the tiles around the village and the village tile itself now are added to my home city. So, go away. So, yes, go away. I know you're... Oh, I'm afraid. That's bad. When you go into Warsaw, you can see that when we hover over the city tiles, yeah, I get a lot of extra stuff from expansion, and the expansion is this, those tiles right here. So I gain a ton of extra food from assimilating, or not assimilating, but converting the Sisters of Mercy, which is very important. Additionally, I can treat this as a city tile, so whenever I fight, when I have units on the city tile, it's not a city tile, but you know, this tile in particular, I will gain extra morale bonus. And additionally, which is also fairly important, I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh right, additionally I can also store armies inside this tile like I would in any other garrison. So if I want to save money, I can put them here and have this village protected like so. It's very important. Now the problem is I have to protect this village because anybody can come in and burn it down. I mean, this is in my region, so somebody would have to declare war for that to happen. But it can still happen, so I do need to protect my villages, because they are very important, and this is how Warsaw can grow to become powerful. Alright, those guys are unafraid for the time being. At least they're unafraid instead of like mocking or pranking or whatever, because that would be scarier. Now let's have a quick look at preachers. I already really changed them, but let's have a quick look at fanatics as well. So these are very weird but cool looking units, and as I said, their strength lies in their stats. So what do we want to do? Firstly, more health and more defense to make them even more buff. Also, I'm increasing the stats as a result as well, which is important because, again, this combines very well with unleashed potential. I cannot give them any other weapon, but I can give them extra movement and a bit of extra initiative, which I gladly will. Generally speaking, even on fast units, you want to have even more movement because on the battlefield, it's actually very, very useful. So let's apply the changes. Those guys cost 70 industry, which is not exactly cheap, but it's not too expensive either, so I'm going to gladly take it. I am not too afraid yet. I'm not going to waste time going for stronghold architecture or infantry cantina, even though at some point I will certainly have to grab those things, otherwise I could be in a bit of trouble. I'm also currently losing dust, which is not exactly ideal, but I have quite a bit of population. Also keep in mind, because this village is in my territory, I do gain extra population for free as soon as I convert it, which is actually fairly nice. I do not need to rebuild this village, it is rebuilt automatically once I convert it. So, what do we want to do? I do need to gain as much influence as possible. Alchemist Furnace... In 2 turns, I will have other things to do, so it's important but not as important as influence. Can I get extra population in just 2 turns? That would be splendid, yes indeed I can. Fanatic in 3 turns is nice. Fanatic, however... Yeah, like so. I like this setup. I'm gaining a decent amount of influence as well. Yeah, let's go for that. So, 1 preacher in my city, 1 preacher is about to be there. I'm going to make them both stay in here. I'm not going to walk away with this preacher because he's got very little movement left. And then I'm going to kill some villagers most likely. Now keep in mind, if somebody else already pacified a village, like other faction over here, I can just walk up to a village and convert it already. I don't need to do anything else, I can just convert it if I have influence, which is fairly nice. However, oh, now winter, I need to walk a lot and it's winter. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, whatever, I guess it happens. Winters are usually fairly tough-ish for the Cultists, but not as much as other factions, purely because usually your single city can deal with a winter quite well, and you have much less city expenditure than with other empires, because you only have 1 of each structure instead of 20 of each structures that all drain your resources, which is fairly nice, all things considered. Alright, I'll wait until this army comes down because... Yeah, besides I want to wait for a fanatic as well, then I can merge all of those guys together, leave 1 preacher in my city for a future army to be created, like so. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'll start making another borough streets for extra influence, not influence, industry I mean. And this looks to be going fairly okay-ish, although if I were to go for stats, I can bet that I'm miles behind everybody else. By everybody else, I have currently only mean the Draken, but everywhere we look, they are miles ahead of me. This is 100% to be expected on endless difficulty. You are not going to be ahead of any AI until at the very least mid-game. Accept that. It's okay, you can make it work. Also, I have no name, because I'm awesome. Anyway, it was good enough for now. I cannot make this video any longer than that, because there are plenty of people that require my attention, and there are some guests coming to my house today as well, so I need to clean up a little bit and whatnot. So, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Spammer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll just give this guy another ability. Yes, you do want to max out Impassionate Leader as soon as possible. It's very important. So I'll do that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.